Very good morning, students. Myself B.K. Singh, your science teacher from Oriental Public School, Kishanganj. Dear students, today we will discuss the transfer of heat. So before that, student will discuss clinical thermometer. Actually, thermometers are of two types: clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. First of all, we will discuss clinical thermometer and how can we use the clinical thermometer. I think all of you might have seen clinical thermometer at home. When your someone, any dear one, gets fall sick, in that case we used to use the thermometer to measure the temperature. So see, students, we can use it. That is, first of all, we should insert the thermometer in the mouth, and then we should take the reading. But the proper way is, first of all, we should give the jerk in the clinical thermometer, so that the earlier that is earlier mercury, level of mercury will go down to the zero, and then insert the thermometer after washing it properly into the mouth, and in that case the bulb of the thermometer must be in under the tongue, and then after 1 minute we should remove it from the mouth, and then we should see the level of mercury thread. So in this way we can find the reading. And student, one thing, when we will remove the thermometer from the mouth, the level of mercury thread does not fall. So there is reason behind it, and the reason is kink. Actually, presence of kink in the thermometer just above the bulb is the reason that it do not fall. And student, in clinical thermometer, the range of the clinical thermometer is 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. It is very short range, and this very short range is because the human body temperature does not vary beyond this limit, and range in Fahrenheit scale we can say that is 95 degree Fahrenheit to 100 degree Fahrenheit. After this, student, how can we use or how to read a clinical thermometer? And in clinical thermometer, student, we should take the reading properly, and that we can do if the bigger marker can read 1 degree Fahrenheit, and there are 5 small divisions between them. The one small division will read as 1 by 5 degree Fahrenheit, and that is we can take as 0.2 degree Fahrenheit. Now student, there is another thermometer, that is laboratory thermometer, and laboratory thermometer it is used to measure the temperature in the science laboratory, and it is you can see here, that is a laboratory thermometer. It is used to measure the temperature in the science laboratory, and its lower fixed point, that is 0 degree, and its upper fixed point is 100 degree. So these are the two different points. And after this, student, we will discuss next, that is transfer of it. And student, transfer of it, that is how does it take place. So students, the direction of transfer of heat is always from an object at higher temperature to another object at lower temperature. That means if there is two objects, one, this is another object, so if its direction is from the object at higher temperature, suppose the temperature of this object is higher and the temperature of this object is low. So in this case, the direction of transfer of heat will be from the object at higher temperature to the object at low temperature, and the amount of heat supplied to an object depends on its mass, the nature of the material of which the object is made of, and the rise in temperature. These are the three things on which it depends. After this, student, we'll discuss that the SI unit of heat. The SI unit of heat, student, that is joule actually. SI unit of heat is taken as joule, and joule is also represented by capital letter J. And the CGS system unit of heat is calorie. And student, what is 1 calorie? We can define in this way: the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius is called 1 calorie. Clear? The amount of heat, that's how much heat is required if we want to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water. 1 gram of water we have taken, and we want to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So in that case, it will become 1 calorie. That heat will be count as 1 calorie. And 1 calorie is equal to 4.186 joule. Now, students, we will discuss the 3 mode of transfer of heat. So there are 3 mode of transfer of heat, and these are conduction, convection, and radiation. So first of all, we will discuss conduction, students, and this is the process by which heat is transferred along a solid body from molecule to molecule or atom to atom, or from one place to another, is called conduction. And in this one, student, the very important thing is that it transfer along a solid body only. It do not transfer through liquid or gas. It transferred along a solid body only. And here, when the conduction by the heat transfer by the mode of conduction method, so in that case, actually heat transfer from molecule to molecule or atom to atom, but actually the molecules, neither the molecules nor the atoms transfer from one place to another. Only heat transfer from one place to another. And this one we can see by, or we can understood by one experiment, and in that experiment we will have to take our metal rod. So you can see here there is one metal rod, and this metal rod will have to arrange with the help of a stand, and we'll arrange it. After arranging it, we will take few nails, and with the help of some wax and heat, we will go on sticking the nails at these places. Suppose this is the nail stuck. Another nail will have to stick here. Third nail will stick here. So in this way, we will go on sticking the nails. You can see here already nails are there. And then we will take one source of heat. You can see here one source of heat is there. That means when we light it, when we burn it, we will have to place the source of heat at one end of the rod, metal rod. So here we have taken a metal rod, to one end of the metal rod, and then we will burn it. After burning, what will happen? Definitely heat will come out. So because of heat, this end will start getting heated, and then what will happen? We will find that slowly as we are moving, that is as we are going on heating, so we will find the heat is transferring from this place to in this direction, because here it is hot object is there. So from the part is hot, from higher temperature to lower temperature it will move, and in this case we'll find first of all the nail which is near the source of heat will get heated, and next which is next near to the source of heat will fall. As you can see here, it is falling in this case, and here second, and lastly after falling all the nails, at last the nail which is very close to the stand will fall, or which is very far from the source of heat will fall at last. So in this way we can see the transfer of heat is taking place in metal. And the two important conditions for heat to be transferred through the process of conduction is, number one, it is number one is the body must be in contact with each other. Two bodies must be in contact with each other. Second condition is the two bodies or the two parts of the same body must be at different temperature. If there is different temperature difference is there, in that case only it will take place. That is, conduction of heat will take place. Transfer of heat will take place. And now you can see here, that is the conduction of heat varies from material to material. For this one also we can take two metal rod, one is of copper, another is of aluminum. So in this arrangement also we'll set up both the rod with the help of some stand, and after that we'll take a source of heat and we'll arrange in such a way that both actually exactly at the middle we'll put the source of heat, and we'll start hitting both the rod from one end, and then we'll find the rate of transfer of heat is different in both the rod. We'll find that in case of copper the nails are falling faster than the nails falling in case of aluminum. So in this way we can say that the conduction of heat varies from material to material. And after this we'll say materials can be categorized into two types, and these are good conductor of heat, or simply conductor of heat, and insulator of heat. So good conductor of heat, what are good conductor of heat? So good conductors means those materials which conduct heat readily are called good conductor of heat, whereas bad conductor of heat, so those material which do not conduct heat readily are called bad conductor of heat. After this, the students will discuss some example of good conductor of heat and bad conductor of heat. So you can see the good conductor of heat examples are silver, copper, aluminum, iron, whereas bad conductor are wood, wool, glass, water, air, paper, cork. They are bad conductor of heat. Uses of conductors and insulator of heat. You can see at home many cooking utensils made up of metals and alloy are used to cook food quickly and efficiently, and at the same time the handles of such utensils are made up of insulator of heat. So this is all for today, student, and thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.